guess even kings get scared.
Sequence touchdown.
Biden done. And you got what?
9-8. That's not crazy.
Swift on Pro Bowl this year. Lock it in.
Zone touchdown, Detroit Lions.
8 flowers for a 3rd round pick.
No.
You're tripping.
The gut punches will stop.
Yo, we are back, man. We're back. Another live stream. I love that intro, dude. I do.
It's so good.
I know it's strange, like when Brad's not here, because it's like, okay, I just have someone watching, like just 2 other people. But I love the intro, man. You know, I got a little bit of that from you. I think I took some of that from some of the work that you do. You know, some inspiration.
You had a machine gun in the beginning.
Thing is fired. I know the sound effects. I don't know. Sometimes you just get the right one and you're just like, this is it. You know. Wow. So that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hey man, we got Let's Talk Lions in the building with us today, man. We're gonna do some Lions mock draft. You can see the jacket he's wearing. Look at that thing. Come on, man. Hey, now I think we got a good suggestion here. It says so if it's Rad Holmes and Dose of Dorsey, that's I guess our like nicknames on here. Jay Campbell, MCJC. I think that's got a good ring to it. What do you think?
I'll take that. I'm taking that and running.
MCJC. I like that. That is clean. What's up, Chad? We got Zach in here. We got Joe, Eric. Ooh, okay. He's excited. So, look, I mean, we just kind of wing this, but I when I do this, I like putting the pressure on you. You know what I mean? Because they hear me all the time, and I don't for sure know where they're going with 2. I feel like I'm struggling knowing. And look at me. Now I jumped out again. Here we go. We're about to get back on here. But anyways, you can still hear me.
Absolutely.
While I'm fixing that, I'm going to put this on you. Where, if I had to ask you right now, if you had to, I don't know, you had to bet that jacket on it, where do you think the Lions go at 2, man?
Ooh, you're so dirty. That's so terrible. Yeah, eBay, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Well, okay, here's my question.
Okay.
Is Hutchinson gone?
Yes. I'm sorry. I know. I should have made that clear at the beginning. I'm sorry.
If Hutch is gone, they're going Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh.
I bet my jacket on it.
Okay.
Hutch is gone. I don't. You know what's weird is as time has gone on and we've really. The last month has just been wild. So, like, this is the hardest part for me. The whole month leading up to the draft is just such a wild experience because one day this guy sucks, and then the next day that same guy is the best, and it just drives me insane. So,
yeah,
you know, there was all those rumors regarding Thibodeau and Campbell not being a fan, and I'm like, it feels like a smokescreen. I feel like they like Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm. It feels weird because it wasn't like it was a direct quote from Campbell. It wasn't like, hey, Campbell said he didn't like him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like this guy said that no one said that he thinks he's a fan. So it's, you know, it's just all like the little.
Listen, it's VeggieTales the rumor weed. That's what that was. I know.
VeggieTales
Blast from the past.
Okay. I didn't know we were getting into that when I got on here, but we got VeggieTales.
No, okay. Always VeggieTales.
VeggieTales is where it's at. I remember at oh my gosh, that's all we would watch. It was for church. We would have to watch VeggieTales. I don't know why it was VeggieTales. Yeah, I don't know why it's VeggieTales. I'm gonna have to switch my camera over because you know how we do. But for some reason, that was the go-to. I'm gonna switch it over real quick. Now, I'll ask you this though, because you're saying you think it's Kayvon. Yeah. Is there a guy that you want that sticks out right now? If you were stuck at 2, you'd be like, man, if they took him, I'd be super happy. And it doesn't have to be a fan favorite, but you know.
No, it is Hutchinson. It is Hutchinson. I'll be super happy with that decision. I really love Hutch. I think there's a lot of upsides with him. And as a whole, though, it's really less of like I'd be super happy with somebody, and it's much more of I would be upset. I would actually be upset if the Lions select a quarterback at 2. If it's Malik Willis that comes in and they call that name, I'm just like, I'm already holding my breath. I know I got a whole week that I got to, I should be breathing. But if I hear Malik Willis's name get called, I'm going to be a little bit peeved.
Really? Okay. I don't want to do this to you, but I had to do this to Mike too. Give me like 3 seconds. I'm just going to refresh the page. My camera will turn back on.
You're right. Well, It's just me hosting Dose at Dion's show, and there's nothing better than that. Is there? Yes, there is.
All
It's
right,
Dose.
there we go. Yeah, we had a downgrade, but we're back. All right, man. So you're saying you don't want a quarterback at 2. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely not. No, because here's the thing is, when I look at Holmes coming in, when I look at Campbell coming in last year, both of their first year, now we're rolling into year 2, and I look at this quarterback class, I don't see anything that I'm really like, anything that's lustrous, that I'm like, man, I want that guy.
Yeah.
And so I would rather take a proven, developed quarterback, Goff, and use him to the best of his ability and see what comes of it, and draft around, build out that defense, build up the front 7.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I think that's a good point, because the way I've been thinking about this recently is exactly that. Like, you know, I feel like when you take a quarterback, especially if you do it in the first round, no matter where that is in the first round, and you have a guy like Goff, you're basically saying, hey, this is your replacement. You know, eventually he's taking your spot. So now that kind of idea of, well, we're going to see what Goff does next season, and maybe he could be the long-term guy, is kind of out the window, it seems like. Like, you're not, they don't believe that. Now it's just, he's not the long-term option. We've made that decision. And to what you're saying, I agree. If there's not that like, I don't want to just take a guy that I'm like, well, maybe he could be the replacement, because, you know, Goff is just it. We don't know, though. So if I'm in that boat, if I'm not completely sure, or I don't love that quarterback, I just feel like I wasted a pick just to have a quarterback 100%. You know? I'm completely on board with you. And I know you said you hold your breath for Malik. I hope it's not Malik, too, because I don't even have Malik as my top quarterback, man. I went back and I was watching North Texas today, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we can't take this guy in round 1. You can't do it, dude. You can't do it.
I remember sitting down watching him, and I remember it was early in the college season, and all of a sudden there was all this hype, and it was like, oh, Malik Willis, he's like one of the top QBs, and I was like, all right, I'll sit down and watch this kid.
Yeah.
So I sit down, I look over at my buddy Christian, and I was like, oh my God, if we draft this guy, I'm gonna want to die. I can't deal with this. I was like, this kid?
Yeah.
Now, granted, I think
Right.
that's, you know, he's in college. There's so much. That's just Jay being very critical. But
it's a quarterback. Got to be.
He's a quarterback. You have to be. And when I look at him, it's so high risk, high reward. I think, man, he could really become something, but he could also be like Billy Bean with the Mets. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with a bust.
Yeah. And to me, I think if you do that, like, I mean, we're trying to rebuild. We're trying to build something here. If you're using first picks and that's what it is, where it's just like we bust, like you wasted one of those top picks that were super valuable, especially if it's 2. I mean, the 2 value is so high. It's like, man, I can't use the 2 pick on that guy. There is no way to me, man.
No, absolutely not.
I won't go. We'll throw up the mock draft in a second, but I'll just throw this out there. I was watching him today. I'm like, yeah, no, not a first round guy. And then I'm still on that Carson Strong train. Like, if the Lions would surprise and win Carson Strong at like 32, I wouldn't be happy because I still don't want to go quarterback.
Yeah.
But this is the one guy I'd be like, okay, that's acceptable. You know, we did so that. I'll just throw that out there. Is there a quarterback to you anywhere in this draft, even if it's an undrafted guy? You're like, maybe, you know, if we took this guy, I could see something.
The only one that I would be like, I would let out a sigh like I just did and say fine after is probably Matt Corral.
Wow.
Weird. Yeah,
okay.
You know, just spending some time digging in, looking at him. I'm like, okay, he's a guy. But again, I wouldn't want that to be until 34 or after. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to be around after at least, well, maybe the 3rd round. I don't know. There's some teams that do need QBs. You could see Washington picking one up. You could see, you know, New Orleans got these. Yeah, obviously Carolina. I feel like they're going to go QB at 6.
Yeah, that feels like the first team for sure that could do it. Yeah, there's teams that could. Pittsburgh, I mean, is in at 20. Yeah, so
yeah, and I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in Goff, and that's fine. I mean, based on last year, I can understand it. However, if you put, I firmly believe, put the pieces around him, you will have success.
Yep,
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. So we're on the same boat here. Let's see what the chat's saying. All right, so look at this. Back to back comments. We got one that says in Goff we trust. Next one says Goff is mediocre. So there you go. There you go. Well, let's throw this up, man. We're gonna try this out. Let's do our first one. I know you said you use Pro Football Network here. So we'll use Pro Football Network. You said you usually avoid the trades. So let's do our first one without trades.
Yeah.
You down for that? Okay. Let's do it. Now, I don't know how you want to do this. With Mike, we just kind of like, okay, yeah, we both like that. Let's do it. We can go back and forth, or we could just, come to a decision.
I think this first one, let's do a little agreement. Let's become the United Nations here.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So who do you think you're more like? Are you more like Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes in your opinion?
I mean, if I'm MCJC, I gotta go Campbell.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
That's good. I see you. Okay, let's do this then. Bam. Let's go. If I mess this up, okay. Wait. Can you see this? Are you able to see this?
Yeah, I can see it. It looks good.
Okay. Yeah, so Chad, if you can't see it, you should be able to see. Travon Walker just went 1. So you just said that you want Hutchinson at 2.
I do.
So are we agreeing on this? 'Cause I'm down
well,
with
you
Hutchinson.
tell me. How do you feel?
Down. You're like, hey, look, you're MCJC, right? So I feel like you're a Hutchinson guy. You know what I mean? You got the jacket. I see you. So I'm on board.
All right, yeah, I would go. And you know what's interesting? I like that they threw Travon Walker to Jacksonville because obviously that's getting rumored right now pretty hard. Peter Schrager, he's saying, "Oh, I have sources, whatever." But yeah, let's go. I'm feeling Hutch. How you feel? You feel good about that?
I feel so good about that.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I feel so good about that. Yeah, I think most fans will feel good about that too, which is the nice thing about that pick. Man, that'd be wild, wouldn't it? I out of all this, somehow Hutchinson falls to 2. And do you buy any of the possibility that a guy like Travon? Now, let me ask you this. Not even ask you that question. Travon Walker, if we picked him at 2, how would you feel? What would that reaction be like?
You know what? Again, if we pick up Travon Walker, Hutchinson, or Thibodeau, all at number 2, I'm gonna give one solid fist pump. Just let's go. Like, I'm excited about all 3 of those guys because I think all 3 of them have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses, and it's a matter of saying which one's really going to fit in with Detroit the most. That's where I'm leaning away from Thibodeau. However, I look at a Travon Walker and I'm like, I think he could be legit here. I know people are saying, oh, he's just another Flowers, but I don't know, man. That guy, he's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, look, Walker's going to be the weirdest thing to me is to see where a team tries to put him. You know what I mean? Like, are we going to keep using him like almost like, I wouldn't say like a Michael Brockers, but are we going to keep using him kind of like how Georgia did, where it's like handle the run, play inside of a tackle, or are we going to try to ask you to be something that you weren't at Georgia, just put you on the edge? And because you're right, like the length, the athleticism, if you're talking just pure upside and having no really clue what he's going to be on edge, that's what he is. I'm a little concerned about that, depending on the role you try to throw him in with the 2 pick, because I'm like, man, he's just so much of a project of him trying to make him an edge.
Yeah.
But he does feel like a Saints pick, doesn't he? Doesn't he feel like a Cam Jordan, long, powerful, and he can get up on you quick? It's like that's
Oh, which now like. Kind of really makes sense for us in a way, knowing that we got the Saints background.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with a lot of these. Like, okay, who looks like? I mean, I think of a guy like you get some of these undersized guys. Maybe they're a little bit of a tweener. I think of like a Nick Benito, out of Oklahoma. And you hear that, and I'm like, well, if you look at with the Jaguars when Todd Walsh was there, what's his preference of a defensive lineman? And I see Yannick, right? Yannick comes out, he's 240 pounds. I'm like, okay, well, he did that. He just let him play stand up. So it's trying to I'm trying to put together what kind of guy, but I do believe it will be a defensive lineman with a top pick. I do. Now, do you believe at all that possibly could be a cornerback?
Absolutely not. No.
Really? Not at all? No chance.
Not a chance. No. No, and before I get into it, Det Fan Man's asking if MCJC could get a race helmet on, and I'm just going to say this: my lacrosse helmet's in the other room, and it would look like I'm MCDC. So I'm not going to do it because I don't need the internet seeing that forever. But
I get it. That's respectable. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't see us grabbing a corner strictly because we haven't even seen anything from Okudah. And I know people want to label him as a bust, but I cannot disagree more. The guy's played in 10 games due to injuries, and it's not fair to call him a bust. Maybe after this season, if he gets injured again early, you're like, okay, you're too injury prone. Mm-hmm. Then the pick was wasted. Yeah. But I really think based on Amani Oruwarie's development under Aaron Glenn, you can get the same thing out of Okudah and Iffy. I think we got stuff coming out of Iffy. So I don't like CB early.
Yeah, no, that's great points. And I actually was thinking about this. I'm glad you said that because I actually kind of thought about this yesterday, and I think you just said basically the exact same thing. I was like, when I look at edge, I feel like I have a better sense of kind of what we have, with Romeo, what we have with Charles, even though he was breakout last year. I have a better sense of what we have, and it's like, okay, I know we kind of like need a guy that can help us against a run too. With cornerback, to what you said, I don't really know what I have. I know Jerry was outstanding last year as a UDFA. You're right. We don't know what Okuda is. Amani had his best season. We don't know what Iffy is, so it's like, man, we don't really know what we have there, which makes it tougher to draft that high of a cornerback if you don't know what you have.
Yes. And if the Lions select another cornerback in the top 10, top 5.
Yeah. Do you think the reaction would be tough? Do you think Lions fans would lose it?
I will force vomit on my stream.
Oh, snap.
Nah,
Okay.
I won't do that. That's kind of gross. That's kind of grody.
Yeah, that's
but
tough.
I might just vomit in general. I don't know.
Oh, you're not on the sauce train, so Lions take sauce at 2. You're not going to be excited. Okay.
No. Now listen, he's a great player. But oh my God, if we do that. Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep it going then. We on to the.
Yeah, my bad. I got excited.
No, it's all good. It's all good. All right, man. We're on to our second pick. We just took Hutchinson. Now, I don't know how many of these mock drafts things you do, but I mean, when you're kind of looking at, okay, here's what I think the Lions need, because I feel like what they've tried to do, and I think they sort of did it last year too, is like they've plugged a lot of things where it's like, well, you could argue maybe we don't need this that high, or this that high, or this that high. Same thing with receiver, with safety, but at the same time, you have to take someone. So is there kind of a pecking order? Or are you still like, yeah, we got to get safety, we got to get a top receiver? Because I think, I talked to Rad, he's kind of like, well, maybe we could wait on receiver a little bit. Are you still like, no, we got to get a top guy? Like where's is it linebacker for you? Is it still interior defensive line? Like what's still up there?
Yeah, great question. For me, it's defensive edge off the bat, number 2. Mm-hmm. Then from there, I'm in between safety linebacker. Those are my 32, 34.
Okay.
And very specifically, I love Nakobe Dean. I think Dean would be a tremendous pickup. Obviously, we have the Packers taking him at 28 here, but if he can fall to 32, if Dean is available, that's my selection, because then 34, I'm going safety. So, that's kind of my pecking order. It depends on who's available.
For sure.
Once we hit 32, it's either going to be safety linebacker. That's where I'm falling.
Okay, I think it has to be. I mean, I think that's the whole point of what you did in free agency. It's like, which just is who is available. It's not we have to get this position, because if you do that, now you're in this part, well, oh gosh, they took our guy. Now what do we do? Now we're scrambling. So, no, I think that makes sense. But so receiver, you didn't mention receiver. Where's receiver at for you?
So wide receiver is so tough for me in the draft. I think if you have an established team, if you're the Packers and you're like, that is our number one need, and there is talent available in the first round, you make that selection. If everything else is feeling really good, really tight, same thing. I look at Cincinnati last year. I'm like, it makes sense that they chose Jamar. I didn't like it. I think they should have taken Sewell. I think they absolutely should have for the future. But it was and they make it to the Super Bowl. So it's a fascinating thing to look at, because I'm like, but you lose, and Joe Burrow takes hit after hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
When's the poor guy going to have enough, and it's over? So this is where, for me, where is Detroit right now? It's wide receiver 3rd round and later. It just is. I want a great wide receiver. I would love to grab one at 32, 34, but we can't. We can't afford it. It's still too early. Unless, Stephon Diggs, 5th round. Draft pick.
Yeah, some late one. Tyreek Hill, you
name it. Cooper Kupp in the 3rd round, and this is where I really trust Brad Holmes, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, those are all good points. Yeah. Okay. So we're thinking linebacker. You said Nakobe Dean. He's not there.
No, he's gone.
Dang.
He's gone.
Dang Packers.
Of course the Packers.
That's the Packers.
God.
Now, what'd you say for safety? Who'd you say? Was there a guy that you said for safety that you're looking at?
Yeah, I really like Brisker.
Jaquan
Brisker.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to make that pick at 32?
Well, okay. So that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. Who's our other safeties available?
Okay, let's take a look. So we got Brisker, Petrie, kind of like a corner, I guess. Nick Cross, Joseph, McKinley. I think Brisker's sticking out there a little bit.
Brisker's sticking out.
Yeah.
Show me linebackers.
Ooh, Quay Walker, Chad Mula, Christian Harris, Troy Anderson, Brandon Smith, Leo Chenal. Any of these guys stick out to you? Any thoughts on any of these guys? Brian Asamoah, Channing Tindall?
Of any of them, it's Christian Harris.
Okay.
And I'm trying not to, like, sometimes it's so difficult to separate the player from the school. You know, like you see Alabama and you kind of start watching them. But no, I really do like I like Christian Harris a lot. However, in this scenario, again, it's either at 32, I'm going to Kobe Dean or I'm going Brisker.
So you're like those. If one of those two are available,
those are the two that I really like. Yeah.
So we're leaning Brisker here then.
That's what I'm leaning. But how do you feel, man? Don't let me run this show.
Look, we got you on here. I wanted you to get your thoughts. I like what you're saying, man. I do, because I'm a big Brisker guy too. Now, the only thing with Brisker, and it's not with Brisker, but it's just safety in general, I wonder a little bit if they're going to be looking for more of a guy that was more of a ball hawk in college. And I want to hear your thoughts, because I look at, Elliott, who I think can make plays on the football. He's flashed a few times last year. And Tracy Walker, I think, has a lot of upside there. But those guys, versatile, willing hitters. And I think they've been bringing those type of guys in for visits. So it's like, all right, I understand that. But maybe they look for a guy with more production on the football than a guy like Brisker had. But with that being said, Brisker, at one point I was like, maybe I have this guy over Kyle Hamilton. Like, at one point I was thinking that. Yeah, because I just think Brisker brings so much to the table. He's such a smart defender. I've seen this guy line up at cornerback. It's like you put him at cornerback at the 2-yard line because you just prefer that option. So I'm completely okay with taking Brisker here, man.
Oh, okay, then let's roll the dice. Roll me a natty 20, baby.
Bam. Look at us. Value. Oh, I was going to ask you about him, Devontae Wyatt. Do you have any thoughts on Wyatt? I mean, I asked you, like, what positions, but interior defensive line I feel like is a very interesting one, because at one side I'm like, we got to get better here. But then on the other side I'm like, Aleem and Levi, those guys aren't not going to be starters next season. So it's like, how early do I go there? It's kind of the same thing we just talked about. What do you think about interior defensive line?
Interesting. Good question. Well, I mean, I think he's a big boy. How
Devontae?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking about the position in general, like how early you might address it. But you can tell me about Devontae too. Yeah, Devontae's got some size, and we know he had a crazy good combine. Definitely looked good as a mover. But just kind of that position for the Lions.
No, position in general, I feel pretty good with it. I think especially if we're going to address the outside, we address the edge. I mean, I really like between, who do we got in there? We got Onwuzurike. Well, Onwuzurike, I think, has some. He's got some steps that he's got to make forward. He's got to continue to develop. But Aleem McNeil, I think, has blown my mind with actually how great.
The chat's got me, man. I'm just reading. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Only Adam just trolling hard. No, I really like our defensive interior.
Yeah.
As a whole. So I'm not feeling it. This early. However,
that's fair.
Man, I think based on last year and Brad Holmes going back-to-back picks, we could see it early here. We could actually see it 34, and that's something that I didn't consider.
And I think the first pick will play a lot because, like you said, if you take an edge at 2 like a Hutchinson, okay, do you really want to double back that early and get another defensive lineman when you have Aleem, when you have Levi? Because, I mean, when they took Levi, it was like, dude, this is our guy. We were going to trade up around 1 for him. Like, he's not going to be taking his spot. Aleem's good. I mean, no one should take that guy's spot.
Oh, and there's nothing better than Aleem when he gets up and rubs his belly after like he's eating. I'm like, I can watch that on loop like a GIF all day.
Yeah. No, that is good stuff. You're right. We do know Brock is a little bit on the older side, so he probably won't be here very long. So that is one thing, but it doesn't have to be super. I'll just ask you this: is there any defensive lineman, not speaking edge, and if it is not, that's cool because I get it. Is there any defensive lineman anywhere in this draft that maybe you're interested in?
I honestly can't say that there is. I really can't. There's nobody who sticks out to me. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dose. I really focus on the first 3 rounds. That's where I put a lot of my energy and effort. Mostly because after that, I'm like, the availability and anything that can happen is so wild. I start to focus more on position rather than player. Fair. So that's where, for me, the first 3 rounds where I'm looking at what's important is that defensive edge, that safety linebacker. And then from there, I'm open to wide receiver.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many, it's just so many players. Like, even if you do these simulators and like, well, look at this guy late. There's just so many players that aren't even on this simulator that you'll find and you're like, oh gosh, this guy's not on any simulator I've even seen and he could be drafted. There's so many players out there. It's crazy how many players that are available to be drafted. So
yeah, all the guys that become UDFAs.
Yeah, tons. There's tons of guys. Now, I saw the chat bring up Tyler Linderbaum here. You know, you got your top center in the draft. That's interesting, maybe. I don't know if that's interesting. The thing with guard to me is I think eventually Big V will be replaced because I don't think he's a natural fit for guard. But I still would be shocked if it was something that the Lions would really push for this year. I think they're like, okay, we're good there. I mean, it's more backup tackle for me.
Yeah. No, I think we're good there. I think we're absolutely good there.
So we're looking at linebacker now. Is that Christian Harris is still there? I know you said you like Christian Harris.
Yeah, he's still there at 30. Oh, yeah, right. It's 34. We have 32, 34.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think he plugs in as a, weak side linebacker. We need it. I mean, linebacker is one of those spots where we have a lot of names, but no one's locked up. It's like there's no one here that we even can say that guy's probably part of the future aside from Derek Barnes.
Yes, absolutely. And I look at Harris and I'm just like, man, I think he's quite athletic for the position and for really who he is, his size. I like him a lot. Now I don't know how do you pronounce that name that Feardham's saying? David, is it Ojabo?
Ojabo, yeah, Ojabo.
How do you feel about him?
He's one of the guys I'm gonna be honest, I haven't even got to watching film on yet, but I have seen him a little bit within seeing Hutchinson. I can't go that high for a guy that I know is out for a year. I struggle with that, and it feels wrong, but I still struggle with it, because even before then, it wasn't from the stuff that I saw with Hutchinson. It still wasn't like, man, I'm like, oh, this guy, like if I was thinking like, man, this guy might be the best pass rusher in this draft, that's a different situation. But to now add the injury where I know he's not gonna play year one, it still makes it tough because even just aside from year one, it's still a very serious injury to come off of, and you're like, the chance of him re-injuring is really tough as well. It's tough, man.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And you know what? It's kind of weird. Like, you think about it, how many guys got drafted last year that took an entire season off because of the COVID fiasco, right? So, like, it's weird when you think about, somebody like Ojabo, right? And you're coming in, and you're like, okay, the injury.
But we already got Hutchinson, so I mean, you compare the teammates back, but do we really want to do it?
Nah, we good.
So I'll have to throw this one more at you because we're just going through it right now. Wide receiver, is there any receivers? I mean, I know I asked you about receivers, but is there any receivers in this draft that you're like, man, I like that guy? Like, hey, I don't care where we are in the draft. We took that guy. That'd be exciting.
Okay. See, tough. All right, because obviously, you got my favorite who I would love to see the line snag, who we can't. I just don't. It's not going to happen. Is London.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to be able to snag him. I think he would just be such a great fit. And now this is what's tough about we're in a position where I'm like, I don't think we could do it at 32, 34. It's still too early. Got to wait until the third round or later. So Drake London is like the guy that I want. I would love to see him paired back up with St. Brown. But again, not going to happen.
Beautiful. Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, would you ever consider a trade up for that? If you what if you was sitting there at like 18 and you knew the Packers are coming up, you're like, oh, they might take him, and they're like, hey, you know what? You give us pick 66 and 32, and you can have it.
Stop. See, this is where the trade. No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's not prudent. That's not being prudent.
Okay. All right, man. So we're feeling Christian Harris here.
Yeah, I do. I like Harris. I think he'd be a great addition to our wide receiver core.
We're talking the linebacker, right? I just want to make sure I'm not picking the wrong.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking Christian Watson.
Wait. Okay, so Watson. I like Christian Watson too. So, but are we leaning linebacker or are we leaning receiver here? What do you think?
Oh shoot, yeah. No, you're right. We gotta go linebacker. That's what I said we were gonna do. See, this is where Dan Campbell's probably gonna get hype, and he needs Brad to rub the shoulders.
Calm down, dude.
You can't have it all.
Where's Drake London? Where is
Yeah, that guy's already in yellow and green with the Chiefs hat on.
We're not feeling cornerback, right? I just want to.
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's take Christian Harris.
Jimmy Harris.
Christian Harris out of Alabama. Chad, how are we feeling so far for our first three picks? Let's see. Packers are in love with London. I'm sure they are, man.
Who do we got so far? We got Hutch. We got
Brisker. And we got Harris.
And Harris. Yeah, see.
First three picks are defense, man.
That's my day. If that happens, I'm excited.
Well, that's good. That's good. I like that. I like to know where your head's at. And I really don't dislike the picks because I think with Hutchinson, I think he's the best edge. So immediately, great run defender. He can play strong side, which I'm worried about Romeo. I'm gonna be honest. I'm worried about Romeo and Julian and their run defense. I'm worried about it a little bit. And I like Charles Harris' run defense, but is he starting? So he plugs in there. Christian Harris. The production isn't there, right? But you watch him, he's just such a good mover, and we need a coverage linebacker. Christian Harris does everything for Alabama. And then Jaquan Brisker, I think he's one of the best safeties. So I'm mad at this, man. Now we're on to 66. That's where things get interesting.
All right, we're in round 3?
Yeah, just by position, right? If there's not a player that sticks out, what are we feeling here? Well, Drake Jackson's there. But what are we feeling here? Are we feeling receiver now?
This is where I'm feeling receiver.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel like going into round 3? If we have picked up a linebacker, our edge, and our safety, where are you leaning position wise?
Yeah, I think here's where I definitely peek at corner just to see, just to see.
Just to see.
Yeah, just check it out, see what's going down. I don't know. I think I keep everything. I mean, if there was a stud edge that stood out, maybe. But I think receiver definitely comes into play here. I think that's where I'm really starting to peek at it because. Yeah, I would like another guy on the outside. Just knowing Chark's injuries, it's like we could have another guy that can win on the outside. I want to count on it, but at the same time, it's like, can I? Now, I do believe that the Lions, like when you brought up the Jamar Chase pick, I think for the Lions, it's just like, okay, that's how Cincinnati's building their team, so you can understand that. For the Lions, I think we're going a different direction. We built our own way, so we can't try to be everything. We got to just be like, this is what we're good at, and let's build that direction. So that's why, to me, offensive tackle. At some point, we got to get Babcock offensive tackle. At some point, not here, just some point. So, what are you feeling though? What are you feeling? I mean, we can look at quarterback. What are you feeling? What are you feeling here?
What QBs are available? Hit round 3. What do we got?
Does anybody stand out?
Only Zapp.
Ellaby really high. Yeah, they got Zappy in there.
Zappy.
All the stats last season, huh? What do you have? 60 touchdowns.
Hey.
Gosh, man.
Send him to the XFL.
My good. Hey. Hey, do you watch it? Did you watch the USFL at all?
You know what? I popped on your stream because you were streaming it, and so then I was like, maybe I should go over and look at this. And when I saw the guy fumble for like the second time, I was like, okay, if we can't hold on to the ball, I can't watch this game.
We had like 5 fumbles in that game.
It was awful. And then they bring in the backup QB, and that guy fumbled.
Yes. Then they put the other guy back in. It's like, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
So you know what? As a whole, I'm like, it's an interesting experiment, one that I'm okay with. But I'm not. The one thing that they have that I love and I want implemented in the NFL is the chip in the ball. I hate that the NFL uses these idiots that run out there with the chain and just say, maybe it was a first down. Let's measure. Up.
Yeah.
Nope. You're screwed out of the Super Bowl. Bye.
Wow, yeah.
It is the most antiquated thing in the game of football, and I understand that they love the effect of it. Oh my goodness, everybody's sitting there, the drama. But if I wanted to watch a drama, I'll go watch L.A. Law. I'm watching a freaking game where they should be able to, the richest sport in the U.S., figure it out, put a chip in it.
What year is this, man?
I mean, if we're all wearing goggles going into a fake universe, we could figure out this thing. It is not 2 men in a chain.
Hey, you're speaking facts, man. I didn't know what you were going to say. I'm glad you brought that up because I was like, well, I love the mic'd up stuff, how we get to hear the referees and the guys doing the plays. No. But yes, the spotting of the football is...
Give me the proper spot. If we can do it in tennis in Wimbledon and they can zoom in and be like, the ball hit this millimeter, we can do it in the NFL. Sorry, I went nuts.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. That's why I asked, We asked, we got answers. Okay, so what's the chat feeling here? I was checking them out. It looks like okay, they're talking about DJ Chark because we brought that up. So, what position are you thinking? Is there now tight end? Tight end is another one we didn't talk about. I mean, where's the value of tight end for you? Do we need another number 2? Do you like Brock Wright? What is that?
Brock Wright is enough. He's enough to have out there as a secondary, as your tight end 2. But there's nothing I don't watch him and I'm like, man, I'm amped about that guy. I'm amped to have him as a backup. Maybe even start putting the squeeze on DJ Hawkinson. Because Hawk needs we need to put the squeeze on Hawk. I know we've talked about that. Tight end's very interesting to me. But there's nobody that stands out in my mind at this point that I'm like, really amped about. I would rather get a wide receiver here in the 3rd round.
That is fair. That is fair. Now I'm going to do this one more time before we hit receiver. You said linebacker and you had safety high. What about doubling up on either of those spots? You think either of those positions Lions could double up on?
Well, let's think. Looking at our linebacker core, we got the old guys. We got Anzalone, Jared Davis, and Board.
Yep.
And then we got Barnes back, year 2, Pittman. And if we pick up
Christian Harris,
we didn't get Nakobe Dean. That's right. If we pick up Harris, at 3rd round, I'm not feeling doubling up there. Who's our available safeties right now?
Oh, good question.
Because I'd be interested in that because our safety game.
You don't like it?
Well, I mean, we just picked up Hughes. I forgot we picked up Hughes.
Okay, so I mean, this could be the spot. If we're gonna double up on a safety, to me, that I'd be like maybe looking at a shot. Now, this is a guy. Where's he at? Oh, okay, we'll find him later. It's like Scott Nelson, maybe if they did it late, something like that. But if you wanted to go this early, maybe I would personally, if I'm this guy, I'm looking at more of a ball hawk here, like a Kirby Joseph, like a Verone McKinley, something like that. Someone that's more of a playmaker that just needs time. Because who knows? I mean, even if you got Brisker, right, and he comes in and you're kind of have this rotation going on with these 3 safeties and Deshaun Elliott, what happens when Deshaun Elliott's contract is up? Now you can plug that guy in. You got your ball hawk. You have him with Tracy. You got this other. You got 3 great safeties going around. Do you need that? I don't know. I mean, that's the question. But
yeah, I'd probably go linebacker. You're right. Hearing you say that, I'd probably roll linebacker. Now, what about you as a cornerback? Because I know you brought up CB.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Are you thinking maybe a cornerback here?
I do think the Lions are going to go cornerback higher than I thought originally. I think they will address it. I just don't. I could see it with the top pick if they traded back, maybe, depending on really who went. But no, I definitely think once this pick, like once you get like 66, I think safe cornerback definitely comes into play because Okuda's coming off his injury. Because of what we saw, like if he was so good, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah. But if you want to do it, if there was a guy that stuck out, like for example, Tariq Woolen, big body, runs super fast. I mean, he'd be like a great cover 3 kind of guy. Something like that where you're just like, dude, the upside's too high here. Because, I mean, that's what it feels like with every position. It's just like, man, what can this guy become? But if we're looking for an impact right now player, I would have to go receiver, right? I mean, because I'm looking at a guy that helps us right now. So let's want to take a receiver.
Yep. I say we go receiver here.
Okay. Now, is there anybody that sticks out here, or are we looking for a certain type of build, or what kind of build?
Well, okay, so this is where wide receiver wise, I would want a bigger bodied receiver at this point, yeah, it's just somebody on the outside, somebody who can give me some flyaways, huck it down the field. Because my one worry is DJ Chark's health, and I'm trying like not to worry about it, but you look at it, you look at the injury, and you're like, dang, that is something that could be detrimental. And if we could pick up, I think we have to pick up a receiver here, and I want somebody on the outside.
Okay, yeah, and are you looking for like a? I mean, you're saying DJ Chark, so you're looking for a guy that kind of, because I mean, to me, let's say DJ Chark is out, which guy on the outside really stretches the field at that point? Which guy draws that attention? Do we have a guy that even draws attention on the outside? I mean, Cephas can play on the outside, right? But he's not drawing safety help because he's not blowing by anybody.
Correct.
Josh Reynolds didn't really do that either for us, which is, to me, why they got DJ Chark, because they're like, Josh Reynolds is cool on the outside, but he's not that guy that you're afraid of.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, it's tough because then you're like, nobody's afraid of Khalif Raymond, but he's a speed demon. Yeah. You know, like, and obviously we're using him. You see him cutting up the gut and not really. I don't really remember seeing him a ton on the outside.
Khalif?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we saw him the most when Cephas went down, because we didn't have Cephas, and it was kind of like that span of we don't have anybody play on the outside because Josh Reynolds isn't here yet. You know, just like,
so who do we throw the ball to?
Yeah, it was like the Rams game. It was kind of like that span where it was like, okay, now you're an outside receiver because we don't have anybody that can play on the outside. But yeah, I do think this is kind of like maybe just who you think the best player is available. I mean, if I'm just taking best available, I would take a guy like Sanders. Because I try to get another pass rusher because I can't have too many of those. Or I'm cool with going receiver. Now, I like David Bell, but I know he's not a burner. I know that's why people are like, oh, I don't like him, man. He's not that fast. So it's like, okay, I get that. I understand. But he's got some size, great hands, great route runner. So, I don't know. I just think it's an interesting spot. So, let's just narrow this down. Just tell me a position, and we'll take a player from that spot.
Wide receiver, give me the best available. Go.
Boom. Okay. I'm thinking David Bell. Now, Chad's going to hate it, but I'm thinking David Bell. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right. Not best available. Give me David Bell. Hey,
Yeah.
I like how you took that second. You were like, nah.
I mean, that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm looking at the names here. You got a guy like Thornton, and people love the speed. I like the speed too, but I'm just worried about his hands. It's like I'm taking a guy at 66 that I have concerns with his hands. How can I do that? It's a receiver.
You can't do that.
You know what I mean?
Right.
David Bell, I'm like, okay, he's limited maybe, but he gets open. You know.
But here's the thing about Bell is also really the long haul, right? The flyaways. Like when I look at him, he's a guy who doesn't feel that quick up front, but on the go, on the fly.
Okay.
I like him.
You
solid.
see more play speed than the time really shows.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that with Traylon Burks a little bit. You know, Arkansas, he came in super big at the combine. People were like, man, he ran like a 4.6. What is this guy doing? It's like, he doesn't look that big on. Yeah. Let's take David Bell. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Go.
That's my guy. I know Rad's gonna love that, so we'll do that.
Getting wild over here.
This is a good mock draft. This is good. All right, we got. How about that break, man? We got about 80 picks of a break if we don't make a trade. What do you? If you're gonna be live for the draft, what do you spend your time doing there? Do you play some Uno?
I'm gonna play Super Smash Bros.
Oh my, that's a better option than Uno.
100%. I'll just start live streaming me playing Smash Bros. We'll watch the draft, and
I will tune in. I will tune in from the draft.
And if you want, I mean, I don't know if you got a Switch, just bring it with you. You can play against.
Oh, there
me.
you go. Yeah, the draft is going on.
You're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
We don't have a pick for a while.
guys, stop. They have to bring this. So what's the go-to character, for you?
Oh, everybody
what's your
hates
guy?
me for it, but it's Lucas.
Lucas.
I love Lucas, man.
Really? Okay.
Oh, man. I had my brother-in-law over yesterday, and I absolutely whooped him as Lucas. It was great. Also, I love Isabel. I think Isabel is so funny. She's annoying.
Yeah.
She's the little puppy dog.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. She like puts these little mines on the ground, and people go over it and get. It's great.
Dude, I don't know, like for me, like that was the first console we got was the GameCube, man. And it was
Same here.
The Melee, the Super Smart Mario Smash Bros. Melee. That was the one, man. I still play that. It's so expensive, but
it's so good.
Gosh, it's fire. Yes, the unlocking the characters. It's just that feeling was beautiful, So
Chef's kiss. It's so much easier to unlock them now. Back then, you were like, you got to play classic mode, home run derby with Yoshi under this much time. It was insane. I was like, I just want Falco. Can somebody just give me this? I want to be Falco.
That is facts. He's big facts. Yeah.
Man,
yeah, that's a good point. All right, Chat doesn't agree. They like the Sky Moore. You know what, Chat? I'm not mad about Sky Moore either. I'm not. If we take Sky Moore there, I'm not mad about it. He was great. I think it was Northern Illinois. He went nuts. So we're at 97. We got a receiver. We got 3 defensive players. Now, this is where I start to just take a peek. Because I know we got this long break. So I'm just like, okay, who's there at tackle? Okay, Zach Tom's there. Yeah, okay, I'd probably make that pick. But I'm just peeking, I'm just peeking. That's it.
You make that pick. Tell me why.
I'm making that pick because, well, first off, just to tackle in general, not even just him, just tackle in general is necessary. Yeah. I think when you look at it and you say, okay, well, it's a backup. Yes, and this high makes it tough because, like, okay, what do we want back up? But I think the thing is like the value of tackle. Like, if I said this to you last year, you look at what we came into the season with. Tyrell, Brashad Perriman. Let's say we lose Tyrell. Let's say we keep Brashad makes the team. Let's say Cephas doesn't go down, but we lose Tyrell Williams, okay? And we end up getting Josh Reynolds halfway through the season. All right, take that versus you come into the season, you lose Taylor Decker. All right, which one is the bigger impact on the team? To me, it's not even close. It's tackle. Tackle sunk us to a point. To me, not having that. Okay, we lose receiver. It's tough. But we also can manage. We can figure things out. We can manage it. There's so many of them. We can go pick up somebody. But tackle's tough, especially when the season gets going. It's really hard to go like, okay, hey, we need a tackle now. Let's go find one in free agency because teams are just like, we're not giving those up. We need to have an offensive line. So it doesn't make sense because of the backup. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, it's the value is just super high there. Now this high's tough because I think the higher you go, the more you're looking at as either this is a future tackle for us, replacing Taylor Decker, or he's got potential to push the guard and possibly be that in the future. And I think Zach Tom could play every spot. So that's why I peek at him if I'm going to go this high because I got him as a second round player. So yeah, long-winded explanation, but I just had to
No, please, I love it. That's really good and it's a solid point. I think you're absolutely right, especially watching last year and everything that we struggled with and what went down early. Man, like losing tackle.
If there's one thing I can give Goff, it's I gotta give him protection. Like there's just one thing I say I cannot not have for Goff. It is protection. You know what I mean? We have to protect the guy.
Hey, listen, I'm just gonna say it. We the first week we got Taylor Decker back, we didn't lose. Now we didn't win.
Yeah, but if we had a kicker, man, we would have. Okay,
We coulda.
So should we draft kicker? Is that where we're at?
Wow, God, just give me Prater back. What did we do?
Oh my goodness, man! But no, it's a good point.
We had
a winning record with Goff in the second half of the season, man.
Yeah, and it's easy to rip on him, but when you look at your O-line and the struggles we had, and losing, you lose Decker, you lose Ragnow, and then Penei Sewell, who guy hasn't played an entire season because of COVID, gets in there, practices all summer long, right tackle, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, buddy, got to go play left.
Yes.
Hey, okay, well, no wonder we were getting diced early. And the fact that we were in so many of these games, it was really like, I was like, wow, good. Like, yeah, it's annoying. We keep losing, and I'm watching it over and over again, and it hurts. But all in all, I was like, I'm really proud of what they were able to do under so much pressure. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I know I like, even with the backup quarterback thing, like, I'm sure you're not a Boyle guy. It doesn't seem like anybody is. No one seems to be on the Boyle train. So. But I can't help but be a little bit like, okay, but we were close. Yeah. We almost beat the Browns. We almost beat the Falcons. I watched this team just a year ago lose by 40 to Tampa Bay and not score without Stafford. So at least there's something there to be like, yeah, we got something.
Absolutely.
That's not putting that on Boyle saying he did it, but we have something going.
Oh, it sucks. I was a huge Boyle advocate. When we got him.
Well, stay on the train. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope.
I mean, I'm looking to the next way station, and I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Don't do it, man. We got to stick together. There's only like 3 of us. Okay. We're back on the board. I'll ask you about one more spot. I know I've kind of asked you at every position, but I just want to know, running back. I'm a big Jamar Jefferson guy. I think a lot of people know that, but some people aren't. They're like, he didn't play last year. I still think he's going to be a stud. But, Jamal's out last year. Swift has been injured pretty much every single season. Craig Reynolds is back, though, which I think always gets forgotten about. It's like Craig was so good last season. It's just he's just good, man. He's good at everything. He's so well-rounded. He can pass catch. But anyways, running back, is it on the radar for the draft?
Absolutely not for me. I am not looking at running backs at all because – like you said, first of all, DeAndre Swift, it's really tough. I think he needs to have a breakout season. And I'm not saying he's been bad by any means. In fact, I mean, you look at him and you're like, man, this guy can rip it. Like he's been great. I just think there's a consistency issue due to injury, and so you're not getting the full out of him. Last year, my prediction was he'd hit 1,200 total yards between both running and receiving. He was at 1069, I believe. I might be wrong on that number, but it was I was 131 yards off. So
we'll give it to you. He missed some time. We'll give it to you.
Yeah. So thanks, man. So when I look at him, I'm like, okay, you would have produced truly, I believe, more than what I was expecting, which would have been awesome. However, he has these games where against Pittsburgh, he runs the ball 33 times and puts up 130 yards. Yeah. And then the next week, I believe against Cleveland,
he goes nuts. Yeah.
He barely touches ball. It. Yeah. He barely touches it 14 times. If I'm not mistaken, it's 14 times.
That sounds right. Sounds right.
And he puts up 136 yards. So I look at him and I'm like, phenomenal. But then there's 6 games last year, Toes, where he didn't where he got the ball 10 plus times and he didn't put up over 50 yards. He didn't break 50. And I'm like, that's too many games. That's too many games. Now, I know I'm going off here, but...
No, you're breaking it down, man. I like it. Let them know.
Some of that can be owed to our O-line and the struggle back there. And I loved listening to his press conference the other day because he was like, they asked him, what's it like to have the O-line? And he laughed. It was so good to see DeAndre Swift laugh. I've never seen him laugh in his time here in Detroit. And I was like, oh, my God. I was like, this is so nice.
He's happy.
He's happy. I was like, you're happy. This is so good. But, yeah, he was like, yeah, we talk about it every day. We joke about, like, oh, man, it's going to be great, like, with a healthy O-line. And so because that definitely leads so much into their success in the backfield. So looking at our backfield, with Swift healthy, followed by Jamal Williams, who I think is a workhorse, however, last year of the contract.
Yeah.
And then you have, between Craig Reynolds and Jamar Jefferson, I think we got a guy there. Like Craig Reynolds, watching him play, man, that guy found yards where they did not exist.
Craig's a problem. Craig was a problem.
It was a problem.
So you're valuing O-line over running back. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
for this draft. All right. There it is. I like that.
Yeah,
so,
I know that was a very long-winded answer.
You're breaking it down for the people. This is what they're here for. Look at them.
Listen, no, you know what they're here for?
Oh.
They're all here for a little Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, guys, we're done with the mock draft. Pull it out. This is what we're doing.
I love how you were like, okay, I gotta make it. Oh my god, your face when you saw it, you were so unimpressed.
I was really focused. I was like, what is he gonna pull out here? I knew it was gonna be something weird, but I was like, what is this?
Yeah, just getting my D&D stuff ready.
All right, man. Let's finish this thing. So you said double up on linebacker is a possibility. I won't do tackle because I think the chat will go crazy, and I know they've already went crazy a few times. So what do you think about a guy like Brian Asamoah maybe doubling up on another linebacker?
I'm in.
You're in.
Yeah,
okay, let's not waste time then. Let's do it. I think the chat's down too. Let's do it. Yeah, I like that. And I think he and Harris could play on the field at the same time. And we know they brought him in for a visit. I think they had him in for a visit this year.
Was he in?
So I think they did. Yeah.
For one of the top 30, really.
Yeah, and I think they did. And he's just like the new age style of linebacker to me. Like Christian Harris moves well, but he's built. Like that's what's so exciting about Christian Harris is you look at him like, man, he was inconsistent. But it's like someone needs to just take Christian Harris and be like, this is what you have to do, and he'll be really good. Because to me, his coverage ability stands out amongst anybody in this draft. You know what I mean? Like I can put him man-to-man with a tight end, and I'm gonna feel good. Brian Asamoah is like a safety / linebacker, but at 97, I'm not mad at it.
Here's my question for you.
Okay.
When are you gonna be a scout?
I can't answer that question.
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Like,
No, you got to go be a scout, man.
That's the goal, man. We're trying.
You have a talent. You got a knack. You got an eye, dude.
Well, I appreciate it, man. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to get to. So we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's all I can say. When are you going to be making Hey,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so we're at pick 177 now. We got our two linebackers.
Listen, I'm just going to say this. I made a feature-length film once, a mockumentary.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Oh, okay. But it has to be terrible because if it's good, then it's like, come on, man.
I made it like 12 years ago. I was like 19 when I did it. It was hilarious.
You only can go up from there, though. That's what.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's like just go watch your first YouTube video if you have it and be like, okay, this was a problem. I'm sure you'll be like that. But now it's like, dang, look at where we're at now. I got the jacket. I'm just saying, the jacket's clean. I know I keep bringing it up, but come on now. Okay, we're back to the draft. Now here's where I'm looking tackle for sure. All right, but you know what? I feel like we can wait here. Looking at some of the names, I feel like we can wait. What are you thinking? Because here it feels like we're kind of open. Tight end comes into play. I mean, every position I think could be at these last couple of spots.
Right. Okay, so this is interesting because we went edge, we went safety linebacker.
There it is. Hutchinson, Brisker, Harris, David Bell, and then Brian Asamoah. Yeah, two linebackers and safety.
Interesting. And I know a lot of people are probably anti-wide receiver at our fourth pick. Well, I don't know that. Maybe they are. People, are they?
I don't know.
Who knows? I like it. Sorry. And then, okay. And so then from there, we did another linebacker. At this point, I'm open to...
Uh-oh.
I could go tackle here. I think you've swayed me.
Let's do it. I wish Tom was still here. That's okay.
I don't know who Tom is, but yeah.
My boy Zach Tom. That was. It's all good though. It's all good though.
I thought you meant an actual human being that you.
Nah. Tom. I wish Tom was here to see this. No. I think this is a weird one because I don't know what type of tackle they'd be looking for. But to me, since he's a backup, I'm okay with just saying, he could be a little undersized. He just needs develop. I'm okay with taking the development piece from waiting at 177 because I'm just gonna assume that's what's gonna be there. So a guy like Kellen Deesh, I'm like, I'm cool with that because I like his pass. I was gonna say
that's the guy pulling me in.
Yeah. He allowed 7 pressures all last season. He's one of the best pass protectors. He's one of the best movers. He just needs to put on some weight because he gets powered back. And it's when you look at the Lions, I think for the 6th offensive lineman, do we need a power player? I don't think so, because I'm not asking him to line up against defensive ends, but I'm asking him to get to the next level. And I think Kellen Diesch can hold that down. So if we're in agreement, let's do it.
I love it. I think it's a great pick. The one thing he's got to do is put on weight. He's 6'7". He's a huge man.
Big guy, yeah.
So add some weight and don't get run over.
yes, for sure. Okay, we got 2 picks left. They stole our 234 for some reason. You know, it was just disrespect. Did you hear about that?
So disrespectful.
I mean, come on, man. What they did was they gave us the draft 2024 and said, okay, now you owe us a pick. That's what happened. So
you're right. They probably did do that. It's a business, baby.
Did. Yeah, it is. That's messed up, but they did it to us. Or they just knew they knew we didn't have it, and they're like, well, let's just wait for the perfect moment. As soon as we give him this, we're going to take it from him. We're going to let him know. Like,
hey, that's how, I mean, think about England and Ireland, Scotland. That's what they used to do. We'll give you something. Here's water, and now we destroy. I don't know. I was going for like a 13th century Braveheart type thing. My bad.
I like that, though. No, it's good. It's good. You got. I'm like I'm in history class. You know what I mean? It's taking me back a little bit. I like.
I
do a movie.
I have the Silmarillion somewhere over there, so we could discuss Lord of the Rings lore history.
Okay, there you go. This is what we're doing. Where else can you get this? Come on, Jay. Where else can we get? Yes, we did re-sign Matt Nelson. He was exclusive, so he's back. No guarantees there. And I have no issues with Matt Nelson. I'm just like, hey, if we don't address it, mission failed because we put no pressure on the guy.
Yeah.
Put pressure on the guy. You know what I mean? And there's no guarantees, so it's not like he should be a lock. So at this spot, again, I think everything's open. I mean, we can.
Dude, how fascinating is it that we got rid of Jared Davis, got that compensatory pick, and then got him back?
I never even thought about that.
Some guy, I cannot remember who said it. Somebody said it on my stream.
True.
I sat there and stared at the chat and was like,
we finessed him. That's tough. I didn't even think about that.
Big brain Brad. Freaking, he goes away, we get the comp pick, and then we get him back. I could not believe it. I sat there and was like, no, this can't be real. Wow. This can't be real.
That's
we got the comp
tough.
pick back for him.
I didn't even think about that, man. That's good.
I know. I was like, you know what? The whole Jared Davis thing, I was like, I really thought he would be great under Dan Campbell. I was so bummed he left.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I really think he would have really been huge. Then all of a sudden, we're getting an extra pick and him back. I'm real excited about it.
So I think you should be Brad Holmes. I'll be Dan
Well,
Campbell.
here's the thing.
Happening.
Here's the thing. No. I do
you
owe it
just
to
told me. Okay.
It was Det Fan Man. You get all the credit.
Oh, okay. What? Okay, well, I guess he's Brad Holmes for this one. Okay, we'll give you the title then, man. That's
he
good
gets
stuff.
The title.
Never even thought about it like that. That's good. That's good, man. And I'm glad he's back too. I know Campbell liked the guy. He's like,
he brought him up in his first presser.
Yeah, right. He likes the guy, and I think it's a good fit. And wouldn't that be a beautiful story to just have a guy like Davis who failed as a first-round pick and have him come back? And we're talking about new era, right? We're all bringing this back, and you bring that guy back, and you're just like, hey, you're home here, man. Let's get you going again.
Yeah,
I love that. It'd
be huge.
It'd be an awesome thing to see. Okay, so we're about to finish this thing up. Any position you want to hit here?
All right, so we got our edge, we got our safety, I like the double linebacker. I know some people are going to be anti that. Too bad. We move on. We got the tackle, receiver.
I think tight end maybe if you want to get a second.
I would say,
yeah.
I do like tight end. I want to put some pressure on Hawkinson here.
I like that.
I like that. What round are we in here? 5th?
We are in round 6.
Round 6.
We have 2 picks left. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
Ferguson there?
Everybody's a Ferguson. No. From Wisconsin. I don't think so.
Yeah, he's not there.
I do like Ferguson though. He showed up big time at the Senior Bowl. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of comes like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a red zone target? You know, are you looking for a big body red zone target? Are you looking for more of a blocker? I think we got the blockers to me.
We got the blocker.
Yeah.
We got the blocker.
We need the red zone target.
Give me the red zone.
Okay, I like that. I mean, hey, maybe even Weidermeyer comes into play. I know he's been falling like crazy. Peyton Hendershot.
You're great, man. You're reading my mind. This is why we're gonna draft together.
Come on, man. This is why we're Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
This is it.
Jay Campbell. So what are we thinking? Which tight end? Trey Berry, honestly, would be interesting to me. I like Trey Berry too. Yeah, I mean, there's some guys here. Those would be my 3. Now Hendershot don't really block, but those would be my kind of 3, because they got size.
Give me Jalen.
Jalen's your guy?
Give me Jalen.
Let's do Jalen then. Bam. I think that's fine. You know, he's not a great athlete, but we put him in the red zone. He could probably do
Put
some
him in the
things.
red zone, his big old body barreling
Yup.
through across the middle. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. We got our final pick coming up. They're saying interior defensive line. SSU Aztec prospects. I like Cameron Thomas in the tight end. Yeah, Bellinger and Cameron. No, Cameron Thomas is a stud, man. It's one of my favorite in this draft too. It's a good one. So, who do you have a favorite prospect in this draft? Is there a favorite? Like, it doesn't matter if we take him or not. There's just a guy that you really like in this draft.
You know what? Early, like I was saying, I really do like Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to become really great. I think he's going to be a great receiver for years. And, it depends on where he lands, really get to see him excel early or not. So I'm a big fan of him. And I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if he goes round 1 or not. From there, it's hard. I really liked Thibodeau all season long. And it's been weird every time that something would come out and he would continue to fall and slip and slip and slip. One guy that I really like who we can't get, that we won't get, that I don't want at number 2 is Kyle Hamilton. I think I'm very excited to see what his career holds just as a player, like stepping back as a Lions fan, looking at him as a player. The guy he's just a pterodactyl. I think I've seen that word used for him.
That's good.
Yeah. And I'm like, I am just so excited no matter where he lands, unless it's in the NFC North. Very excited to see what happens with him.
Just don't ask me to spell it, and we're good to go.
Pterodactyl?
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, I think he's just like the guy. It's like anytime that he's near the ball, you might have just threw a pick. You just can't have the ball near him. He may need work, but you just can't put the ball near him. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Final pick. Now, someone did ask. Let me see this one. He said, serious question. All right. Why are you taking a positional approach with Holmes? I think he will go best player available. I think that's what the thing was for. I think especially for mock drafts though, and when you get to later on, if you don't know tons of players, you kind of go to positional side as well. But I also think like position still does play into it. You know what I mean? It's not like the Lions are going to go through and draft 3 straight receivers, because then it's like, why did we just do that?
Right.
So I think positional still always plays into best player available, especially if you have guys evenly graded.
Yeah. And to be fair, Dose, you did ask me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to do this. So that's the answer, Michael. Dose was like, "Hey man, what do you want?" I said, "Let me go this route after the 3rd round." So
this is and but this is a good draft. I like it. This is a good draft. So
yeah,
we're going this route. I like it. We're still getting players that I like. So final pick, man.
Interior defensive lineman, I think we go.
I like that. Yeah, we haven't hit that yet, have we?
Yeah.
What about a guy? Okay, Eric Johnson came in for a visit. I like him. Noah Ellis, just a monster. You know what I mean? Even our guy out of where's my boy at the Air Force? Let's see, Jordan Jackson. He's huge too. And Neil Farrell. He had a great Senior Bowl. So, anybody stick out to you there? Always Eric Johnson sticks out to me. Now that the Lions have brought him in for a top 30 visit.
Right.
Because you're like, well, he might go undrafted, but we now don't have that last pick. So if you don't want to risk it, you take him. Kind of like Jamar Jefferson. You don't want to risk him hitting free agency.
Right.
So Eric Johnson sticks out to me because he brings what you need. And man, I don't know if you've seen Eric Johnson, but I will tell you to do this, okay? If we do draft him, you got to look up like Senior Bowl 1-on-1s, Eric Johnson. He put a nasty spin move on this one dude. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's huge. Yeah, so... But if we're going that direction, that's who I'd point to. Is there anybody, though, that sticks out to you at this point?
Who's best player available?
For interior defensive line?
Yeah.
I would say Neil Farrell, but Neil Farrell to me is a pure nose. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want a pure nose tackle because I have Penasini. Am I just taking, like, where's Penasini going? So for me, honestly, the players that I've seen so far, it's either Noah Ellis or it's Eric Johnson to me.
You know what? I'm going to do some research on Eric Johnson. I got to look him up. I don't know enough about him. But I'm going to trust Brad Holmes on this one. Okay. I'm going with you. I'm going with you on this one. Roll the dice.
I love it, man. What a mock draft. That was some good stuff. I think chat's liking it. Is that the guy out of Minnesota again? Is that who you guys are bringing up? Let me make sure. Oh, Iowa State. Okay. I don't know if I have my thing on.
Wow, I've not actually seen. Wow. You know what? It would be a real Lions thing to get that guy, because to pronounce that name.
Yeah, right. That we got to get someone in there with a crazy name, so we may have messed up this mock draft.
That's on us. Sorry for picking Eric Johnson.
Now we no longer have this pick, so we'll do a punter just because we're upset. We'll take that guy.
Take that. I mean, punter? God, we got Foxy.
Hey, get a long snapper, and we're all good. That's what I'm hoping for. That's who I want. If there's one guy, give me a long snapper. Hey man, what a mock draft! I like it. How do you feel? Do you feel like this is a great mock? Are you excited about this? Or
Yeah, you know what? I
like,
give
you know what, we
I give
failed.
this a B plus. I feel really good about it. You know,
Yeah, B plus.
I think it's so tough because let me see it. Aiden Hutch, Jaquan Brisker, Christian Harris, David Bell. See, I like our first four a lot.
I actually really like this draft and the punter. You know, that's beautiful. But I like
Punt,
the draft.
I mean, that seals it. That's an A minus.
Yeah, you can't, you know. And Asamoah is cool because to me, it's like you want to say another safety too, maybe, but he kind of is. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
you know
we're
what?
all right.
I feel
You know?
good about this.
I feel really good about it too. This is gonna be excited. I'm happy about this draft, man.
Oh my god!
I want to ask you this before we get out of here.
Sure.
Have you seen any of Jermaine Johnson? And because I want him at 2, you know, and I was just wondering if you've seen any of them, and if you're like, dude, you're crazy, because I'm sure most people think that. But
Let me ask you before I answer why.
Why do I want him at 2?
Yeah.
I want him at 2 for, you know, part of the reason that we brought up earlier, which is run defense. I think he's a guy that, because to me, like, let's say I had Romeo Okwara, you know, like, I want to have him on the field with Romeo. I want to have him on the field where I put him on the strong side, and he can handle a tight end. He can handle all that. Then I look at how good as a passer she became. Here's what people miss, I think, with Jermaine, is that when you look at Kayvon, they're like, dude, look how athletic, because his get-off is disgusting. People just don't do that.
Yeah.
Is how Jermaine, his 10-yard split's better. You know, he's just he tests out as well, if not better than Kayvon in every category. So you're like, okay, the athlete's there. It's just about the development as a pass rusher, because when you look at Georgia, he's barely getting snaps. You know, so really last year was his first year as this is what you are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kayvon's been doing this. This is what his position's been. So I see the upside. Obviously, you see the production because he just plays hard. You know, he's got 17 tackles for loss, double-digit sacks. And then I look at the Senior Bowl, just to cap it all off. You know, where do I want a guy to stick out to me? How about stick out at the Senior Bowl? Not as Pro Day, you know, because Pro Day's cool, but the Senior Bowl, where the Lions are at, and you're dominating tackles because they can't block you, and you're like, dude, he can literally do everything. I think any pick at 2, in a way, is a project. I do. I think any edge you take at 2 is a project, other than Hutchinson. I mean, Travon, I don't know what he is as an edge. Kayvon, he needs to improve his run defense. And Jermaine, same category. So I'm taking the guy that I love at that spot. It's like, well, it's Jermaine for me at that point. But I'm not mad at Kayvon. I want to make that clear. If we took Kayvon, I'd still be excited.
Yeah. No, that's a fascinating point. I like it. I actually like it. And this is where it, too, like, this draft is so odd to me compared to past years, right? Like, where you knew that there's the quarterback sitting at 1 and he's going and you're like, okay, goodbye. Like you just knew what was going to happen. I feel like I'm so in the dark.
Yeah.
And with every person that I end up doing a deeper dive into, I feel like I become more and more lost.
Yeah, like, no, for sure. Because you're just like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because all of a sudden I'm listening to you and I'm like, you know what? That's a really great point.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sitting here thinking, right, now I got to do a deep dive on Jermaine Johnson versus Thibodeau, just specifically because, man, I think that this draft there's such an open opportunity for
It never feels like this in the past. I just don't remember a draft feeling like that.
Exactly.
I don't, man.
I don't remember that. And this feeling is so odd because I'm like, I think there's less of who I'm going to be really pumped about and more of who I'd be really upset with, you know?
Wow. Well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, that's a good point. Because I mean, I'm like, okay, I'll be cool with any of these defensive ends, but if we go quarterback, I'm gonna be like, oh goodness. If we take, you know, I won't hate on it because I know people in the chat want, and I get it, I respect it, but it's just not my cup of tea. You know,
it's not my cup of tea. I will not be a fan. I will be bummed. And the thing is, and this is the number one thing I preach is I do trust Brad Holmes. I really do. You look at last year, I think 5 of those draft picks were knocked out of the park. That we saw that year already starting halfway through the season or whatnot. And I think this year, if we can get 4 guys, he did it again.
For sure. I mean, and that's what the first 3 picks where they're supposed to come in and be starters day 1. So it's
Bingo.
like that's the goal. And I will throw this one last thing out there when I think about Kayvon and stuff. If they take Kayvon, it's not that I don't like Kayvon. I'll actually be more excited because I'll know that the Lions then think that all these rumors, they think that he'll put in that work and he'll be great. Because I know he's got a ton of potential. That's just my question. So I think even some of the Jermaine thing is just like, I think that Jermaine's this. I think I know what he'll be and what he'll bring to the table. I just have some questions about Kayvon. But if the Lions take him, those questions will go away because I'm like, Lions believe it.
Correct. That's my big thing. I trust them. I trust the front office, and that's such a weird thing to say as a Lions fan. And so that's where I'm like, if Thibodeau's the guy, I'm like, I love it.
For sure. And we can't see those things. Like, we don't know about the character because we don't go talk to his friends or people that work around him. That's all the scouts thing. All we can see is what they put on the field. So if we're just like hearing questions about this off the field stuff, we just can't answer it. So that's some of the Lions what to answer by who they take, I think.
Yeah.
All right, man. Good stuff, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. This was great. I enjoyed it. I haven't laughed so hard in a while.
No, this is a good mock game. This is a good time. This was awesome. We got 6 days until the draft, man. I
can't even believe it.
It's crazy. And I'm sure I'm going to have you on, if not again before the draft, but at least definitely after the draft to get your
right
thoughts,
back at
go
you.
through it all, go live, something. So
I love it.
Hey, man, you got any words of wisdom? We know we got to put you on the spot with it, but if you got something, I know you got the book. You don't have to read the book, but if you got something.
I got Aesop's Fables over here. No, I think my words of wisdom is, as we're all rolling into the draft and we have 6 days, no matter who the Lions pick, you might sit there and look up and say, is there any hope? Yeah, there's always hope. Maybe just a fool's hope.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.